What's good, y'all? It's Swayze, and today I want to talk about, well, the big news. Bungie was bought by PlayStation. That's right, the developers behind Halo 1, 2, and 3. The good Halo games, as well as Destiny and Destiny 2. That's right, that Bungie was bought by Sony and PlayStation. Now, the first thing I want to clear up here, and the first news to really, get across, is that this was not in response to the Activision Xbox deal that happened like 2 weeks ago, I think now. Nah, it wasn't like the Sony execs were just chilling around, watching TV, saw that deal happen, and then said, oh crap, we gotta buy a company of our own. Nah, this was in the works for at least 5 months from some of the reports I saw. And just one thing to know, these big acquisitions, when one company buys another company, they never happen in the span of a week or 2 weeks. These are always months, if not years, planned in advance. So just to clarify, that this isn't like Sony saying, oh crap, Xbox got us, we gotta play catch up. No, the second thing that is really important to get across is this does not mean Destiny 2 or Destiny 3, if it ever does come out, or anything Bungie makes is going to be PlayStation exclusive. At least not yet. First tweet I want to put up here is by the Sony president, where he states Bungie's successful track record in multi-format publishing and live game services will assist us in realizing our ambitions to take PlayStation beyond the console and increase our potential audience. So right there, you got the Sony president coming out and saying, hey, the reason we're doing this is we want to take PlayStation and expand it beyond the console. And Bungie has, a track record and experience with multi-format publishing. So they want to keep it that way. And another tweet that I saw, and I'll put it up right now, is by Pete Parsons, who is the CEO of Bungie, and he just straight up says that with this acquisition, with Sony's support, the most immediate change you're going to see is an acceleration in hiring across the entire studio, as well as basically just saying it right here, Bungie will remain creatively independent and multi-platform. And I want to first off talk about the creatively independent, because a lot of the times when you see a company or a game developer bought out by another big company or game developer, like some companies, EA, a lot of the times they'll buy these companies and then not use them, not give them the creativity, just kind of sit them in a corner, and then a couple of years later they shut them down. So the good news is that they're going to continue to be an independent sort of company. Now obviously they're going to have to answer to PlayStation. They're going to have to answer to Sony for a lot of things. But the good news is that they're not giving them the EA treatment, and then, where their future is kind of up in the air, and we don't even know if they're going to make a game or if they're going to be allowed to do what they want to do. So that's the first good news on this tweet. The second off, again, multi-platform. They're going to continue to release games on, Xbox, on PC, and then they're even trying to expand that and put it on to more consoles. So if anything, it's not going to be exclusive to PlayStation, but they might grow and, I don't know, put it on Stadia or the Soldier Boy console. I don't know, whatever else is out there, however else they can expand. Another thing I want to talk about here is that as they're hiring and as they're trying to expand, they do get that sweet PlayStation money, that sweet Sony money. So this means that any kind of game that they do come out with in the future, whether that be, Destiny 3 or any other kind of first-person shooter, it's going to have more support, and they're going to be allowed to, give it that Bungie magic and not have to answer to PlayStation on every single thing. So it doesn't mean that, like I said, when companies in the past, when they get bought out, a lot of the creative freedom, a lot of that, game making experience just kind of gets tossed out the window, because now they have to answer to, stockholders and shareholders, and you know how corporate goes, EA. So yeah, this is pretty good news on that front, that they're going to be allowed to keep making games the way they want to make games, and they're not just going to turn into one of those other companies, their studios that gets bought up and then they don't really make the same games anymore. And the one thing to point out, a lot of people are saying, oh, Halo is on PlayStation now. Bungie hasn't made Halo in like It's like over 10 years. All right. Now, like I said, they made Halo 1, Halo 2, and Halo 3, you know, the good Halos. But it's also kind of think of it like an athlete or like a sports team. This is another comparison I like to make. Just because a sports team or an athlete was good 10 years ago doesn't mean that they're going to be as good as they are now. For instance, just because Bungie made Halo 1, 2, and 3 doesn't mean that they're going to come out with bangers exactly like that 10 years down the road just because PlayStation bought them. But if I can, put on my little tinfoil hat here, I think they might because Bungie has always seemed to be an alright studio. They've never seemed to be one of those studios that just makes, it completely flop after flop after flop of a game. So as long as they can still have at least a little bit of the magic that they did with Halo 1, 2, and 3, and even the first Destiny, if they can have a little bit of that magic and just with, more workers, more studios helping in that sweet PlayStation money, this is looking really good for competition to Call of Duty, because that's what I really want to look at. Is I really just want to see more competition to Call of Duty, and you can't really do that unless you have big studios backing you, especially now that Activision is being bought out by Microsoft and Xbox, and they're only going to get more money and more support for Call of Duty games. So all in all, this is good. Competition is always good to see, especially with first-person shooter games, because you don't really see a lot of indie first-person shooters, and you sure as heck don't see a lot of first-person shooters that are independently created, like by an independent studio like Bungie, at least not in the past like 5-10 years. So all in all, this is looking good. Now, what else could this mean as far besides competition to Call of Duty in the next few years? Just reiterate, it doesn't mean that anything is going to be exclusive to PlayStation. They've stated that basically everything we've heard from Sony and Bungie makes it seem like they're just going to keep doing what they're doing, just with extra PlayStation money and extra PlayStation support. But it doesn't, I got to quote Justin Bieber for this: never say never, because anything could happen, right? Anything could happen in 4 or 5 years. So I'm not going to try to sit here and tell you that Bungie games will never be PlayStation exclusive. It's just that from everything we can tell right now, it doesn't seem to be heading in that direction. Now, big picture wise, I think this means that the console wars might not be as dead as we thought they were. I don't think PlayStation and Xbox are trying to reignite the console wars of the 2000s, or if you know anything about video game history, you'll know that way back in the day, Nintendo, when they were in their prime and heading up against Sega in their prime, oh man, they had the most toxic advertising. They were going for each other's throats. And so I don't think, we're gonna see a console war as mean and as dirty and as nasty as that one was. But I think it does show that Sony is not laying over and giving up. They have been planning this Bungie buyout for a while now, at least 5 months. They are seeing what Xbox is doing clearly, and that is, at least influencing them a little bit, because now that they have Bungie, they're probably going to keep trying to expand their arsenal and keep adding developers under their umbrella. So it does show that they're still giving these companies freedom, which is good, but they're also adding it in, so PlayStation games will only continue to grow, and exactly like that other tweet said, you're going to see a lot more PlayStation games on not PlayStation consoles. You might see some more of these PlayStation logos when you're booting up a Switch game or when you're booting up an Xbox game. So that's what PlayStation seems to be going for, especially when you consider that they're trying to put together something to challenge Game Pass, and you just can't challenge Game Pass unless you got games under your umbrella. So hopefully we do see something that can challenge Game Pass, because even though I'm in love with Game Pass and I've been an Xbox fanboy for pretty much all my life, I'm not like one of those fanboys. I understand the dynamics between PlayStation and Xbox, and I understand that competition is good. So when it comes to Game Pass, even though I love it, I know it's only going to get worse if it doesn't have competition from PlayStation, and PlayStation can't do that unless they keep buying up studios. So I think all in all, this shows us gaming development and the console war. There might be another console war. It just might not be like the old console wars. It's more of a buying war. And as long as PlayStation can keep making smart purchases like this, I know people are gonna I know people are ragging on PlayStation, all the Xbox fanboys, and they're saying, "Oh, Destiny, that's it." But you know, it's a first-person shooter game. It's really popular. It's still popular even 4 or 5 years after its release. So this is good. It's good for Xbox players. It's good for PlayStation players. It's good for all gamers everywhere. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I just kind of wanted to go over and talk about the facts and what we know, and kind of speculate on what it could mean. So if you did like this, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe. I do a lot of ranting about Call of Duty and just trying to keep up with gaming news and things like this as they come out. So your support would be very much appreciated. But yeah, man, big news. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about it. Let me link me to any tweets that you see. That's pretty funny, and I might cover them later. But yeah, Sony, man, I didn't think you had it in you. I did not think you were gonna try to go toe to toe with Xbox. They might not even be trying to go toe to toe, but hell, they're not giving up, and that's good for everybody. But that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one.